I will admit that sometimes a main character can make you really not like a show. When a character just does things where you're like, please, dude, do something about this situation or stop thinking like that. But I'm the type that wants to wait for that moment that they correct themselves. When you get that redemption point for a character, I don't always feel like you should like a main character. I think that if the whole story is the unlikableness of the character, it can really ruin it. But I always do look forward to that point where they correct their path. Obviously, with a lot of shows covering young characters, they can often do really stupid things, but it's always that maturing point that you always look forward to. But despite that, I have been watching Dance Dance Danseur, the series I am actually really liking despite my dislike for the main character. But this is my thoughts on the series airing in the spring 2022 anime season, so let's jump right into it. Dance Dance Danseur follows Junpei, and as you find out from Junpei's past, he's always had an issue with what is manly, I guess. As you find out that when he was very young, his father was actually a stunt devil director. And he's a very strong guy. He was into martial arts. At one point, Junpei goes to watch a ballet performance by his sister. Well, he was asleep for his sister's performance, but after the performance, he wakes up and he comes to find out this guy gets on the stage after his sister, and it's a single solo dancer, and it was a male. And as Junpei watches this guy, he gets inspired. He gets this effect that kind of hits him. It's described as a sparkle, sparkle, boom. It's like you see the sparkles flying around him. It's that whole aspect of how do you describe inspiration. But he got this inspiration from this dancer. And it inspired Junpei to become a ballet dancer. He's very young. He's very into it. He tells his parents that he really wants to be a ballet performer. And his dad's like, you sure you want to do that? But then after he sees Junpei jump around and do some little dance routines, he's like, okay, well, son, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. Well, unfortunately, following this, his father passes away, and his uncle comes to Junpei and tells him, look, you're the new man of the house now. You need to take care of your sister and your mother. You need to be the man. And this, obviously, to Junpei in a young age, makes him realize, look, ballet is a girl thing. And if I have to be the man, I can't do that. And so instead, he pretty much focuses on martial arts and becomes the manly man that he thinks that he's going to become. Well, this kind of transfers all the way into his schooling. As he gets older, he's really still into martial arts, but he still kind of every now and then does these little ballet sort of looking routines, and it catches the interest of Miyako, a classmate of his. And after Miyako confronts Junpei at his house, he's like, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna confess to me. She ends up dragging him all the way to her mother's studio where she actually teaches ballet, and he tries to get Junpei to join her classes. She tells him, look, that thing you performed in class is a ballet move, and you did it so great. Come here, learn ballet. And again, technically the entire time, Junpei is just thinking, this girl's just really into me. That's the only reason that she's got me here. She's really into me. And when it seems like Junpei is going to walk away from this whole situation, he's being mocked by Miyako's mother, this trainer. And eventually Junpei goes, no, look, I can do something. And he actually does a routine that seems to catch the attention of Miyako's mother, but at the same time, re-sparks that thing in Junpei. He gets that feeling again, that sparkle, sparkle, boom feeling that he's searching for. This inspiration of something that he enjoys. And what kind of follows this is kind of back and forth with Junpei coming there, getting lessons technically for free, them assuming that Junpei will join them for their later performances, but at the same time, Junpei constantly not wanting to be a part of it. Despite the fact that he comes there and he experiences that thing that he wants to experience, he's afraid of being a part of it because he feels like it's going to push everybody around him away. What is his friends going to think of him doing ballet? What is his parents going to think? Is he going to be a man that he thinks he's supposed to be? Those are the conflicts he's having. That desire to look like a man, but this thing that he enjoys that he thinks doesn't make him look like a man. And later on in the series, it introduces Ryo, which is a guy that's actually living at this studio that Miyako's mother's taking care of, and he's actually a performer as well. He's actually somebody that has given up everything around him just for his ballet. He's essentially the symbol of what Junpei believes he'll become. Somebody that has to sacrifice everything, friends, family, everything, just for the art of ballet. And obviously, the love triangle aspect that does introduce. And Junpei realizing at some point, Miyako's not into me. Miyako just wants me to be the friend of the guy that she's actually into. So yeah, introduce love triangle and drama around that. And it gets into some bullying as well because Ryo actually comes back to school following this and he is constantly bullied because he's just been away for a long time and eventually actually does perform ballet at the school. So my thoughts on Dance Dance Danseur. Why couldn't we just got another season of Welcome to the Ballroom? That's my immediate response. Can we just continue Welcome to the Ballroom? Putting that aside, jokes aside, I actually really enjoy this series. This is a very much so a drama slice of life that I am getting really into. Now, there's two really big stinkers in the series that I'm really struggling with. And the first one, obviously, is that Junpei, I don't like him. He's very, very unlikable. He's internally conflicted. And I like that aspect. I do like this idea of somebody with what he thinks is to be a man and what is to be a man, and the conflict that he's having internally as to, this is what I've built and I might destroy it all if I go to this. The fears of committing to something that you believe is going to ruin your life. The thing that might change everybody's perspective of you. You've created this image for yourself, and this is obviously going to shatter it. And that insecurity that you obviously would have with that, I think is really phenomenal. I do like that aspect of Junpei. Now, the struggles that I have with him is his inner dialogue. He's obsessed with Miyako being obsessed with him, and it leads to a lot of really repetitive stuff where I'm like, dude, just think about what's happening in front of you rather than if you're gonna get this girl. He's very, very thirsty for the idea that this girl is into him. Additionally, yes, later segments for Ryo and his bullying that he's experiencing doesn't really shine well on Junpei. Now, I will say, I think that's perfectly fine for a writer introducing a character or scenario like that. This is a real life situation. This is not something that is sugarcoated. This is reality. Junpei is facing an issue where there's somebody being bullied and he's not taking part in it. And you could argue that him being aware of it and being neutral is being a part of it, but he's still not involved and he won't get involved because he knows it's nothing but negative effect to himself. He doesn't like Ryu. He doesn't care that Ryu is being bullied. It does seem like he's uncomfortable with it, but at the same time, he doesn't want to get involved because he doesn't want to change the now. He doesn't want to change the situation, and he knows that if he gets involved to somebody that he doesn't like anyways, it's going to change his current status, which is, in a sense, the whole ballet thing in general. Like, you can parallel Junpei watching Ryu being bullied and parallel it with Junpei wanting to get into ballet or not. Both situations will ruin his current status quo, and it's going to put him in a difficult situation. It's going to change everything and make it uncomfortable. He's in a comfortable state, and that will only make it uncomfortable. I'm not saying I agree with it. I've been dealing with bullying my entire life. I didn't like it, and I didn't like watching it, but it's a real situation. I like that the writer's willing to put a realistic perspective of what Junpei is experiencing right there, and yes, what Ryu is experiencing right there. So I don't hate the writing. I just obviously am uncomfortable with Junpei and his decision there. I think, yes, he technically eventually steps out. It's not to defend Ryu, but to diffuse the situation and allow himself to come out as the fact that he wants to do ballet. It's sort of a band-aid to the situation, not necessarily a fix to the situation. But again, like I said, it's reality. And I think the writer's ability to actually do that was great. I think I would be less inclined to believe it be a real story if the moment that he's seen Ryu being bullied, he goes, guys, bullying bad. Let's all stop. That would be very unbelievable to me in a story. This is much more believable, although I don't like it. It's not supposed to be likable. It's not supposed to be in a situation that you want. I think a lot of us looking back to a younger audience, we believe that we have the answers, but it's never the answer. And like I said, I do respect the writer's willingness to do that. But still, I do dislike Junpei. In the end, I still do dislike him. And again, I think it's a lot in his misconceptions about how he thinks relationships should go. But again, that's juvenile mindset, I guess. Getting a girl, right? Yeah, totally getting a girl, right? Yeah. But no, just taking a step back, I am really enjoying this series so far, and I think, like I said, most of it has to do with Junpei's inner struggles with what is it like to be a man and pursuing those dreams that you desire. This is a lot to do with that. And I think it does have a really solid cast here. Now, Ryu does feel very, I don't know, tropish in the idea that he's the overly committed prodigy that works way too hard and has zero emotion about anything besides ballet. I feel like Ryu is like the most unbelievable character in the story to be a slice of life drama. He's the cartoon character, let's just say that. He's the overcommitted character that doesn't really fit reality. There are people like that, don't get me wrong, but he still does feel very cartoonish in what otherwise is a very grounded slice of life drama story that I am enjoying. Miyako's fine. I really do think that she's cute. I love her kind of getting involved with Junpei when he really badly wanted to do this performance after they watched something. they kind of get into this idea that at some point, Junpei and Miyako go to another performance together, and they watch a performance. And Junpei's bored out of his mind, which makes you question, like, Junpei, do you actually like ballet? But then there was one set of performers that came out that caught Junpei's attention. They haven't quite explained exactly what it is quite yet, but it seems like certain types of performances, certain styles seems to get to Junpei. Again, he watched his sister perform, fell asleep, then this other guy comes out and performs, it gives him this inspiration, this sparkle, sparkle, boom. And then jump forward to the performance that he goes to with Miyako, he's bored. And then he sees this one performance, this one duo, and suddenly he's inspired again. And so it's kind of hinting at a certain style. I'm trying to gather that it's probably something more of a solo performance. He doesn't necessarily like group performances or something, or maybe if somebody, I guess, puts their own style to it, something that's outside of the norm, maybe that's the thing that's really inspiring him. Or maybe it's the more masculine versions of ballet that's grabbing him. Obviously, the guy that inspired him initially came out there without a shirt on, he had tattoos, he was very not overly muscular, but muscular in a ballet perspective. It was much more manlier, and maybe that more masculine version of ballet is what Junpei is really searching for. It kind of gives him the middle area. Like, he thinks that, martial arts and being like his father is what it is to be a man, and what his sister was doing with ballet is girly and something he doesn't want to get involved with, but that there's a middle ground. This more muscular, manly version of ballet that he probably is into. But getting to the other characters, I love them. Like, I love Chizuru, Miyako's mother. She is, I don't know, there's something about like instructors in a lot of shows that I really like. She's got that tough love aspect to her. She's willing to come over there and say, you're doing this wrong, straighten yourself up. It really throws them off. I really love that. She's very much so a gruffness and a figure that he can't really dispute with. But yeah, like Miyako, I absolutely love her. I think she's fantastic. Again, like with that whole situation, him getting inspired and running out there and wanting to do it himself, she comes out there and is like, let's do it together. Let's do this thing together. It does hint at that Miyako does like Junpei. I don't think that she's really in love with him like Junpei thinks. I don't necessarily think that she's in love with Ryo, even though Junpei thinks that right now. I think she's kind of in the middle, and she does love the art that she's getting into, and it's got this little love triangle being developed because of that. But I think that she does like Junpei. She likes being around him and experiencing the thing that she does love, which is ballet. It's kind of like the thing, I have this that I like, but this, I don't need love getting in the middle of it. Did she get a kick out of the fact that he's like, okay, let's do that, and he goes to try to lift her up, and he just absolutely fails at it. They're very cute together, and I am looking forward to seeing how that all kind of advances. I love the aspect of the art itself and what they each can bring to each other as a group. It's obviously a trio sort of performance. It's the evil knight, the prince, and the evil prince, and then the princess in the middle. And to see how that's going to evolve going forward, I'm really interested in seeing. And yes, I would be interested to see what they do with developments of love, honestly. Visually, this is where I get to my other issue. I mentioned earlier that I have a couple issues. The other issue that I have is I still don't like the character designs. Now, it's not bothering me as much as I thought it would as I'm watching the show, but I really don't like the character designs. It's something that I'm getting used to, but the eyes, I can't. I can't with the eyes. The eyes are going to be a thing that I will never get used to. It's like the old image that you used to see on the internet a while back with like the Kyoto Animation style character with the really tall eyes, and then it shows a side X-ray view, and it has like the eyeball going all the way to the back of the skull. Like this whole cavity is just an eyeball. That's what I get from this. It definitely has that in my mind. Every time their head turns, I'm like, holy crap, that eye is taking up their entire skull. The neck thing is not bothering me as much as I thought it would. I think from the PV and from the key art and stuff, I really did think that the necks were going to be like giraffe-sized necks. I do understand that it is definitely an art style or an art choice with the necks that technically does accent ballet, but it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Animation-wise, visually, this show's excellent. Mappa is doing an incredible job with the show. It looks really good. A lot of the dance performances and stuff were fully animated, and it looks incredible. Yeah, there's a few points where you'll see from a long distance that they do use a little bit of CGI, but for the most part, it's all beautifully hand-drawn 2D animation that I absolutely think is incredible. I mean, I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but we're putting things like Yuri on Ice to shame here. I mean, my argument with Yuri on Ice was that it was mostly reused animation over and over again, but this is incredible. I do really like it. And now, granted, it doesn't really have as many performances as Yuri on Ice did. I will acknowledge that, but it's in the same vein. Let's just be honest. Let's say both. Why not both? They both look incredible, and the animation's really great here, and I am looking forward to more of it. At any rate, I am looking forward to more of this series. I am really enjoying it. I kind of knew that I would. Honestly, when I seen it in the key art and everything, when they first announced it, my mind immediately went to, is this the same writer as Welcome to the Ballroom? The art style looked so similar, but I am loving it. I'm really enjoying it. Again, besides my issue with Junpei, I think it's going to be a really fantastic story. I'm looking forward to more of it. I'm kind of sad that it took so long to getting around to it and getting my first impressions up for it. But there you have it. If you think that sounds interesting, definitely check out the series. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. It does help us out. Also, make a comment down below. Let me know if you're going to be checking out the series or if you checked it out and what your thoughts on it is. Additionally, if you want to get all of our videos, I do first impressions of all the shows of the season. If it's anime, it's pretty much here, news, tops list. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate everybody that does follow us and supports us. We also have a link to our Patreon, our tips link in the description below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and y'all take care.